Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name's Tommy. I've got Nessie with me today down here. The very first thing I'd like to do is thank you for being here. I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a while. I hope that listening to me babble on is good company during whatever you're doing, stitching or house cleaning or whatever. I've really been enjoying the company of fellow Flosstubers the last couple weeks. I don't know, there's just been something about what people have been putting out there that's been really, in general, it's just been very positive and community looking. And I guess I needed that the last couple weeks. It's just, the times we live in are so chaotic and confusing. And so I really appreciate that I have access to content that I can just chill out to. And so that's what I hope that I'm doing for all of you. And if I am, let me know. If I can change anything, just let me know. I really appreciate that about the community. We all have each other's backs. So what happened in the last 2 weeks? Just a short little life stuff, because usually I get distracted by talking about that in the middle. Let's see. I spent a lot of time shucking elderberries. I'll put a picture here. My son, we have 2 elderberry bushes in the front garden, which used to be a yard. We live on a village street. It is what it is. It's kind of chaotic. So Luke picked all the elderberries and they filled 2 large paper grocery bags, like filled pounds of them. And if you've ever done elderberries before, it's like a very slow, delicate process to get them off because they grow in these fronds. And so the berries are super teeny and you don't want to squish them. So it was, and I couldn't stitch that day because I had elderberry juice on my fingers and it stains really bad. So that was one whole stitching day lost to elderberries, but that's okay because they're super yummy and I'll be making all kinds of stuff with them. I already made a pie, which didn't turn out so great because, I don't know, I spent 20 years perfecting my pie crust and then we all go gluten-free. And I don't know about you, but I haven't found a good gluten-free pie crust recipe yet. So that's something else you could put in the comments. I would love some insight into a good pie crust that's gluten-free. And also potato starch free because I can't eat nightshades. But you can. Nessie does not like nightshades either. She doesn't like tomatoes or eggplants or potatoes. I don't blame her. Okay, what else? So we got the elderberries picked. I got them shucked. I got them frozen. And like over the past 2 weeks, I think the weather has really shifted. I always can tell like with how I'm feeling physically, like whether the current weather trend is going to stick around for a while. And it does seem like fall is really here. We might have some more hot days and it's beautiful sunny today, but it's definitely chillier and the barometer's different. So I guess that's good. Sometimes I go into fall thinking, yeah, and then sometimes I come out of it going, oh, so we'll see. One thing really weird about this fall has been no back to school prep at all. My son graduated in June and from high school, and he's wanted to take a gap year just to get himself collected. And it's so weird. No school, I don't know. I've been looking forward to this for a long time because I've always hated the back to school routine. You have to buy all this stuff that your kid ends up not using and the stress and, all that. My kids didn't really enjoy school. So that is what it is. Yes. All right. You behave yourself. Now we're going to start talking about real stuff. So, okay. So you're here for cross stitch and so am I. So the first thing, the most exciting thing, in my last YouTube, the plans, I said my biggest goal was to finish Strawberry Fields, and I did it. I recorded that day, and then I sat down in the afternoon, and within 3 days, I had finished it. So Strawberry Fields is done. I will hold it up, and then I'll show you from the overhead camera. So as you can see, mine is different from what most people have, because I totally changed the border into an arch. And so then I moved all the stuff inside around, except for the house. The house and like the bird on the bottom are in their original space. Okay, so while I get this focused down below, oh, I'm just a little too short. Okay, so down here, you can see, oh my goodness. So I had most of like this sort of in last time, and then this time I filled in all these berries, and I did decide to put my initials and the date in because this spot was, I don't know, I didn't know what to put in it. I didn't want to do another big leaf like this, which was my original plan. And it's big and it's clunky and I'm a little bit, I don't know about it, but whatever. It's fine. It's the first time I signed anything. Nessie, nobody wants to see your tail feathers. Come here. So I just I winged it, right? Like I just I would look at the chart and maybe I would turn it so that I could get like this berry at a different angle or this berry at a different angle. So they're all berries and leaves from the chart. I've just moved them around and done some twice. Like I think this berry is very similar to this one, right? This one and this one are a lot alike. So I just kind of played it by ear and it was a lot of fun. I would do it completely differently if I did it again, but I guess that's why you do these things. You learn, right? So it was a really good learning experience. One of the first changes I made was this gate. I made it dark gray, and you know, it doesn't quite work now. I think I needed to have a little bit more dark in here, or to add like a little tiny strawberry bush here so that I could pull that red in, because right now it doesn't feel totally tied in, but it's fine. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that little subtle thing, and that might totally be fixed once it has whatever frame I end up doing around it. Right now, I think I want to do a soft finish. If you watch Lala D Stitches, she just had a video out and she showed how she did some soft finishes, like quilted, like framed the pieces with quilt fabric and quilted it a little bit. They look fantastic, and that's what I want to do too. I think that something, especially this is a very casual piece to me, I think that casual finish would be nice. So I wish I had the pattern to show you alongside it, but I seem to have lost it. I don't know where it went. So here, I'll hold this up again, bring you in really close so you can see some of these things. Yeah, it was a lot of fun changing this. And I really loved all the feedback. There was so much enthusiasm from all of you. Thank you. That really kept me going. And it's so cute. It's so little. So this is 40 count linen, lichen. And let's see if did I write anything else down? Yes. So I started it on June 15th and I finished it on August 20th. It is Newcastle linen, 40 count. The color is lichen, which is, it's a hand dyed, I think, because it's not printed. It goes, the markings go on the front and the back. Oh, you want to see my back? A lot of people have been showing backs lately, and I think that's really cool. It's not great. There's a lot of little knots that happen. I'm not very good at noticing when I've got a knot show up on the back. And it's usually like stitched in by the time I see it, and it's just too late. So I just leave it. I figure those are the kind of things that like I've only been stitching since January, the end of January. So I've learned a lot in that time. I've gotten a lot better at a lot of things. I think the back is just gonna be one of those things that, you know, along the way it'll get better, and I'll work on it here and there. And you don't need to be over there. Come on. She's sitting on my pile of stitching, and I don't trust your poo factor. Okay. Yeah, Strawberry Fields was sort of a impulse buy for me. I saw somebody do it, like they had it half done. Oh, I loved it, right? And I was looking for something that was smaller. I only had really big projects at the time, and it just looked doable. And it really is totally doable. Even if I had followed the pattern exactly. If I had followed the pattern exactly, I probably would have finished a couple weeks earlier, because I had to like let it sit and percolate, like what I was going to do next. You know, I do a bunch and then I just kind of look at it. I have a quilt design wall, like that's where I'm looking. It's behind where you are. So it's just this big wall covered with flannel, white flannel. And so I stick things up there that I want to think about, because I sit here at my desk and that's right in front of me. And so that's what I've been doing with these pieces that I don't quite know what direction they need to go. And so then I just sit and I look and think, and I don't really make decisions consciously. I just kind of let my subconscious do all that design work. And then I sit down to stitch and I just do it. Now, that doesn't always work, right? Like sometimes if there's too much time in between those things, or I've got too many things going on at once, I get, you know, that doesn't work so well. But, you know, that's pretty much my process for anything creative, whether it's a quilt or a painting or a drawing, cross-stitch design. Like I've been doing a lot of design, like cross-stitch design work on my iPad, and I use a couple different apps. And so I've got, I don't know how many going, 4 or 5, and I just kind of go between them. And sometimes all I do at night is I just look at them, right? Like I don't really do any work. I don't make any changes. I don't even take any notes. I just kind of look at them and I put them away, and I just, you know, go and do the rest of my evening. I spend about an hour every evening design thinking, at least thinking about it. So that's my finish. I'll try to put a nice big image of the photo of it up here at some point. Yeah, I'm feeling really scattered today, guys. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm all over the place. I started a dozen times. So if I seem off, I'm really sorry. I'm drinking coffee because I feel like I might be getting a migraine come on. It's the only time I drink coffee is because it's a really good, for me, it's a good migraine remedy, because I only drink it when I feel like I'm going to get a migraine. So excuse me. All right, so that's our finish. Now I'm going to move on to whips. I have 3 whips, in all different degrees of doneness. So the first one that I have is Wings of the Dove. I'll put up over here what that looks like finished. And so I'll tell you about it while I get it laid out here for the camera, the downward camera. I'm using, so this is the Wings of the Dove by Modern Folk Embroidery. It is, I'm doing it on a 40 count linen that I dyed myself. There will be a link, card, whatever, up there where you can go and see the dyeing process of that. That is unfortunate. Okay, there we go. I put blue tape everywhere to tell myself what's in view and what's not, and sometimes it's the tape's in the wrong place. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it's this really beautiful peach and rosy pink. My inspiration idea for the fabric was a ripe peach, the inside of a ripe peach, or even the outside, really. So if you get the whole fabric, doesn't really fit under my camera, but so it lightens up and is more orangey toward the top. This is the bottom. And so I'm using DMC 436 for the stitching. And it's a 40 count Newcastle linen. I think it's, I don't remember who I bought it from. So this is about 10%, which is kind of amazing. It seems like a really stitch heavy pattern, but it's not too bad. So that's not gonna work. Okay, you are being annoying. I'm gonna pause for a minute. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes Nessie is more than I can handle. I just don't want her being a pain in the neck. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I really enjoy dyeing my own fabric. I think, well, here, let me hold this up. Let me hold this up. It kind of looks green. It's not green, but it kind of looks green here. That's interesting. There we go. There you can see the stitches. So the straight line borders, I'm using 2/2, and the rest of it is 1/2. And I really, the 2/2 is a real pain in the neck to stitch. I don't really enjoy it. It just feels kind of clunky because it's really too thick. But I like how it looks. I like that little bit of contrast in the texture is nice. So I'm going to keep on with that. I don't know. This piece, I don't have any expectation for when I'm going to work on it, when it's going to be done. You know, it's kind of, I think it's going to be one of those pieces that I pick up when I really need to feel a little bit of freshness, the color, you know. So I probably will be putting this away until the depths of winter. I mean, I pulled it out because I wanted to get a little bit more done of the 1/2, just to kind of get a feel for if like I really wanted to do the whole thing that way, and I do. So I'm going to put it away and pull it back out in the depths of winter when I need a burst of freshness. And yeah, or any other time when I'm just feeling blah. This is an anti-blah piece because look at the color. It's so pretty. Yeah, it's really dark. I don't know how it possibly is really dark because I have like tons of studio lights in here and I've got the windows, but I just love that fabric. That is so cool. All right, so that's the first of my whips. I'm very happy with this. I'm really glad that I started it over because it was a restart. Yeah, that was a good move. Okay, so the next stitch is from Long Dog Samplers. It's my first and currently only Long Dog, and I dyed it myself using Dynaflow, and that's the same video, the same YouTube extra or Flosstube extra that I did with the last piece, the peach color. And so let's see, I started, this is too big, I'm gonna lay it down. All right, do the downward camera. Are you recording? Yes, okay, downward view. So I started in this corner right here. I worked up a little bit and then I worked across, and that's what you saw last time. And so this time I'm just gonna rotate it. I worked all the way up this side one weekend because this is my weekend stitch. I'll work on it only on Saturdays and Sundays. And so I had a lot going on that weekend, so that's all I got. And then this weekend I did this bit here, which was super fun. It was smooth stitching. I don't think I had to tear anything out. No frogs, knock wood. Is that wood? That's wood. Yeah, so it's just so sweet. The colors are just so exciting. I don't know. I don't think this will be the only piece I ever do on this. So I'll get you in really close here. That is just so cool. And I'm not looking at pictures of it or, you know, like, oh, what's this motif going to look like when it's done? I'm just kind of stitching it and kind of letting it surprise me. That's kind of fun to do that. So yeah, it's going really, really smoothly. It's good to have something to work on the weekend that is a good time marker. You know, I tend to lose track of time. I'm home all the time. So I don't have like a out in the world schedule that I have to keep to. And, you know, my son has kind of an odd schedule and my husband has kind of an odd schedule. So it's nice to have that weekend, just that weekend mindset. And especially with no school coming back, it's going to be really weird because usually my days would be, you know, kind of on the school schedule. I would be doing my own thing in school hours, and then 3 o'clock, everybody comes home, right? And then you just do everybody home stuff. So yeah, it's helping me. It's helping me keep track of time better. And that's something good for the fall too, because I do tend to get the seasonal blahs. And so maybe the bright colors and the rhythm of working on something regularly, it's going to help me out. But so let's see, it is 12.82% done, which I don't think is too bad. I've only been working on it, maybe 5 weekends now? No, 4 weekends. So 8 days. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah, markup tells me that I'm going to have this done in December, but I don't see how that's possible. Maybe if I worked on it every day and got that many stitches in, I don't know. But it's about 1,000 stitches every weekend, give or take, you know, 800 to 1,100. And it is using Sulky 12 weight, 1096. My color, love that color. My dining room wall is that color, just a few shades darker. Okay, which I've probably said every time that I've shown that. Okay, so next and last whip for today is Summerhill. And I'll put a thing over here while I get this set up. This one this one's pretty transparent. So, okay. And so I'm working this bottom section and I'm over on this side. Okay, so yeah, so here we go. This is the bottom. I started over here and I worked my way across. I don't know how I missed those 2 little yellow things, but and there's one little stitch right there too that I missed. I don't know how that kind of thing happens. So it's going really well, especially since I figured out that wrapping my hoop helps me keep things tighter and squarer, and the stitching is much, much easier, and the stitches look a lot prettier. And I don't crush them. So yeah, I've been wrapping my hoops. And then let's see, since you saw it, I think I've put in all the yellow bits from here over and then this up. So I've gotten into this hill part here. It's amazing. The colors are they really are the colors that you see around here in summer. So I love that. I really love that. And this pink, like there's no one thing I can think of that is this particular pink, but there's lots of things that are in that kind of feel, that color zone, I guess. That's that richness, you know? And you know, orange. I have a lot of orange flowers in my own garden, so I really liked putting, that's actually 2 different oranges, so it shifts a little bit. Yeah, I really like how structured this is. It's geometric without being stiff. I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm learning a lot from this that I might want to incorporate into my design work. So I'll hold it up so you can see like the little, how it looks like when it's a little bit more alive. Yeah. So there's a lot of different colors that go into those little triangle sections. So that's the plan for this. I'll pull it out one more time before, so September, September is the autumn equinox. And so I'll be doing the next one in this series, Autumn Hill, which I have bought. I decided that I was going to do it. I bought it. I got the floss, and I just need to get fabric. I just have to decide if I'm going to use this same fabric or if I'm going to do something different. It'll be the same. I'll use 40 count because I want them all the same size, but excuse me, your beak is not allowed to do that. So I will be starting Autumn Hill September 20th. I'll probably see you again before I do that. But so that's Summerhill. It's so, and I'm using a paper pattern for that. And you know, it's kind of funny. I like both. I thought when I was first starting that I couldn't imagine using a paper chart. Like, oh my God, that'd be so hard, you know? And I think it depends on the chart. If it's a really clear, large chart, it seems to give me no trouble. I have had some problems on some that were, you know, anything even 15 years, maybe even 10, right? Like the printing capabilities right now are just fantastic. So if it's a new chart and it's paper, it's fine. I have quit avoiding paper charts. But I do prefer the digital because then I can just kind of, it's always with me and we're not going to lose it. Like I lost the Strawberry Fields chart. I don't know where I put it. Okay, I'm back. My brain is back online. Yeah, I'm going to pause. I'm going to reset up and give you my plans. And I have decided to add a clip of me dyeing the fabric for this next project. I'm going to add it in my plan section instead of a Flosstube extra. I kind of want to just do the whole thing at once. And I have a bird in my armpit right now. It's really distracting me. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm all set up. I've got all the bright, colorful things right now. Okay, so I'm going to just insert soon. I'll do a nice smooth break, maybe, dyeing this fabric. And, but now I'm going to show it to you. Okay. So I'm back. The fabric that I'm using for this next piece, well, I should preface this by saying these 2 pieces in my plans that I dyed fabric for are both for Sampler September, my very first Sampler September. And I bought 2 patterns and I already had fabric. And I am using all floss from Stash. And I bought off of eBay somebody's grandma's, they were selling their grandma's things. So I have all kinds of random colors and brands, and I've just got them all spooled up or, you know, whatever seemed appropriate. And so these 2 projects are the only thing I've purchased fresh is the patterns. And I kind of try to do that as often as I can. I like the challenge. I like buying a whole, like for Summerhill, I bought everything all at once, and that was really exciting to have that come in the mail and to look through it and just to have it all like complete. That's really fun too. But I also like the challenge of putting something together all on my own. Okay, so I'm going to cut now to the video of me dyeing this fabric. I only recorded this first piece. The second one, I was using a very different technique for the first time, and I couldn't do all the things at once. So I've got floss in my hand. I'm trying not to show it to you. Okay. Watch me do this thing and then come back. Okay. All right, we are ready for this project. So I've got a piece of 40 count linen here. I got it from Picture This Plus. I don't know if that's a Zweigart base, but this is what I've been using for everything recently, and I really like it. I've washed it very thoroughly with dish soap, Dawn dish soap. That gets the sizing out, and it helps it take the dye better. All right, so today my colors are, these are Dynaflow, they call them liquid color. So it's sort of like a dye, it's sort of like a paint, it's sort of like an ink. They go on really watery, like watercolors, but you can get intense color, and it doesn't change the texture of the fabric at all, so it's not hard to put your needle through, even when the colors are really dark, like a dye. So that's really nice. I haven't used them for much detail work yet, but I think they would probably work pretty well for that. So when I'm doing the whole fabric, I like to have the whole thing wet so I don't end up with any hard edges, you know, so that I can just kind of move around freely and it soaks in and things are more soft. So these colors are 814 Azure Blue. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. There we go. And 811 Violet. And I'm going to use the violet as an undertone. So I'm going to start with the violet. And I always shake them up really well first because the sediment seems to settle toward the bottom. Oh, I need a, hold on. Okay, so if you haven't watched one of my dyeing videos before, this is my normal process. So I have the wet fabric, I have the dye. I use just like a dropper full at a time on the fabric, and I usually dilute it because it's really intense, and I usually dilute it just in this little spoon thing. So shake well, and then I'm gonna do 2 dropperfuls of the ink. And then over here I have water. I'll do 2 dropperfuls. Let's go 3, just to clear the pipette out a little bit. All right, so always put the lid back on, because if you don't, you will spill it. And the camera doesn't know what to do because I'm not. It's hard for the camera to focus on this white. That will end soon. Okay, so I always work with a really wet brush as well. Let's see if I can put this up here where you can see. Yeah, so I work with a really wet brush, and that helps a lot too. So I'm not going to cover the whole thing with purple. I'm just kind of gonna spot it on here. So I'm not gonna, the pattern that I'm using on this is a surprise, but the fabric is 14 by 20 inches, and I have allowed for a 2-inch border around it. And because I haven't finished much in cross stitch yet, but I really enjoy when people do like bigger pieces as soft finishes, not like as pillows, but like, you know, like a wall hanging or a tapestry kind of idea, rather than framed with, you know, with or without glass. I don't know, I just like they seem like, I don't know, cross stitch seems, most of the patterns, modern patterns anyway, seem like what's the word, sort of more informal, you know, like it's not to present it in a formal way. Some pieces it just doesn't work for me, or it's just not necessary. Maybe it's more the case. Okay, so I've got the purple, and I've kind of done it uneven on purpose. Okay, so I'm going to rinse these out. So I'm going to do a little different today. In the past, I've just gone right back in with my second color right away. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I think I'm just going to let this dry. I'll probably put a fan on it just to speed it up a little bit, but I'm going to let this dry in place. Is that a little too splotchy for me? Maybe a little bit. All right, so next what I just said. I'm gonna soften some of this up a little bit more before I let it dry. But I'm definitely gonna let it dry before I put the next color on. Yeah, okay. I'm liking that a little better. Just a little bit more variety to the textures. And also, I should have said, when I washed it, I very deliberately crumpled it in an even sort of way, so it has sort of an even crinkly texture on it. Now, if I wanted a smooth piece of fabric, I would have probably ironed it and then laid it out and then spritzed it to get it wet, instead of like wash it and then dry it, iron it, and then wet it while it's flat. And that would take away that crinkly texture from the wringing the water out of it when I was washing the starch out. I just I like that crinkly texture when I see hand-dyed fabrics. I don't know how other people get it, but oh, I'm getting a text. My husband, I've assigned him, like, what is it, Sherwood or Robin Hood? I forget the sound, because he's my Robin Hood. I don't know if that makes me Maid Marian or what, but that's kind of funny. Okay, just better. All right, so this is a little bit softer, which is good. All right, so I'm just gonna put a tiny little, just one of those little oscillating fans and let this dry for, I don't know if I'll let it dry all the way, we'll see. I'll check it in about half an hour and see where it's at. And I will be back to you then and let you know. Cool, all right. All right, we're back. It's dry. This is the front, this is the back. That looks kind of pretty too. So you can see I got a lot of marks from crumpling it up. And so this this next layer, I don't want to have the same marks. And so I ironed it. And for the Dynaflow, it heat sets, I think. I should probably reread that, but yeah, it heat sets. And so I wanted this layer to not change when I put the next layer on. Okay, so, oh, and this, I wanted to show you this. This is the little fan I use. It's just a tiny little, and it blows right across the fabric. Okay, so I don't want wrinkles, but I do want it to be damp, at least damp. And so I'm gonna spray this down. And one thing I really like about this Dynaflow is that it does dry lighter, but it's not so much lighter that you really don't know what you're gonna end up with. I think a lot of fabric dyes and paint in general, acrylic paint, dries a lot lighter. That's one reason I've never liked painting with watercolors or acrylics. You know, I get used to the color is what the color is when I put it down, you know, and I find it hard to estimate. Okay, so that's pretty wet. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I could crumple it up again if I wanted another layer. Do I want that? No, I don't think so. Okay, so I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing as I did before. I've got my eyedropper here. And this is Azure Blue. I don't think I've used this color before. Let me see. I think I have the, yeah, it still has the safety cap on the, sorry, I gotta take this off to the side. I don't want to risk spilling it. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's do three, we'll start with two. 2 dropperfuls of that, and 3, let's do 4 of water. Okay, put this lid back on, get my brush wet again. All right, adjust my light a little bit, maybe that's better. Alrighty, let's see. I want to make it so you can see the whole thing. Okay. Move this to the side. Alright, brush is wet. And as I go, I'll be able to notice if the fabric isn't wet enough. It'll show up differently, like that. See how that's like a dry brush almost? So I'm gonna get more water on my brush and just work that in there. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So you don't know what I'm doing with this yet. I'm not gonna ruin the surprise, but we're getting closer. Okay. All right. Get a little more water. Yeah, I didn't get this edge quite damp enough. As long as you move quickly, it's okay if it's not wet, wet. But if you really want a lot of softness, you'd need a lot of water. I think if you were trying to build up a really uniform surface, it would be a good idea to do many thin layers, and you'd have a better chance See right here, I've got a line. I just have to add more color. Okay. So what? That's about half. So I got to do that a second round, almost the same as that. So 3 dropperfuls. I'm going to do 4 because I think I want to have this thicker. All right. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh, this is looking cool. Love it. Yeah, I had a really hard time deciding which color to use for this pattern. I definitely wanted something bright. That's kind of what it's all about. But I've already done some bright colors. I've done bright yellow. I've got that Wings of the Dove is on that, what did I call it? The peach, ripe peach color. So that's that orangey, reddy yellow. It's pretty sweet looking, very summery. And this needed to be bright too, but I didn't, and do different. My Long Dog sampler is bright lime green. And I think I used this blue as my first layer, as the like the way I did the purple here, but I didn't use quite as much of it. All right, so I'm just kind of going back and forth between adding the ink and then adding more water to areas where I think it's not taking quite as well, where it's a little bit drier, mostly around the edges. Okay, so I've got some left here. Now there's some spots that I think are too light, like over in here, that's way too light. And it's gonna dry a little bit lighter, just a little bit lighter. So I wanna get more color on that. I think I'm gonna need to do another batch, maybe just one dropper full of blue. It's a little more purple than I wanted it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I haven't picked my floss colors yet. I decided to just do the fabric first. So we'll see what I think when I get to, ooh, that's so vibrant. I love it. So, if you don't want super bright colors, of course you can take all of these different inks and mix them together before you put them on the fabric. And you can dilute them a lot. You don't have to do brights. And I only have the set of brights. There are many, many, many colors of this Dynaflow. And so you could, pretty much anything you want, you could either mix it, or there's a color available pre-made. If you mixed it, you just follow your basic rules of the color wheel. Like if you want to make something more neutral. So if I wanted to neutralize this, I might put a very thin wash of orange under it or over it, depending on the effect that I want, and that will help neutralize it because they're opposites on the color wheel. All right, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna let it dry and then see how much it lightens up and maybe do another layer. All right, so I'm just gonna turn my fan on, and it's getting a little late today. I probably won't have good light in a while, so I'll come back in the morning and do this. Do the final wrap up. Okay, cool. Okay, are you, ouch. I'll show this to you, how it came out. Hold it up. How about that, huh? I think it's going to be oriented this way. So lean back in my squeaky chair. Yeah, that color looks pretty close. So the undertones of purple, there's a little more than I wanted. Like it's more defined than I wanted. But I do think that given the pattern that's going on here, anybody got any guesses? All right, here we go. Yes, Turkish Delight by Rosewood Manor. And this is another Karen Kluba, I think. Yeah, I really like her patterns. I really liked the pink, and I had actually planned on doing it pink, but then I dyed the one for Wings of the Dove, and I thought, well, I don't want to have something so similar, right? I'm looking around here for bird control. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it on this bright, bright, bright fabric. And I've given myself just a couple inches on the edge, and that's why I've sewn this white waste fabric so that I can put it in a hoop. And this time I did it with the seam upward because the other two that I've done like that, the Do Different and Wings of the Dove, I have the seam on the wrong side of the fabric, but it tends to get a little tangled up if I'm not really paying attention when I put it in a hoop. So I thought if I just put the seam out where I can see it, it won't get tangled up so much. And I also thought it'll be a lot easier to measure off the edge to get that corner start perfect. But I do think I'm going to do a center start on this just because it really lends itself to a center start, and there's not like a good thing to count off of on any of these corners. So, oh, you're ruining it already. And the middle is just really fascinating. Yeah. So, okay, so there's the pattern. I'm gonna lay my fabric out, and then I'm gonna aim you down and show you. Let's get that started. Hello, focus. Okay, so here are the colors. Nessie is not out when I am actually stitching because she is really interested in all the things. Okay, so these colors, let's see, these ones that are still in skeins and this red, these ones were given to me by a nice woman who my husband knows her from his work, and she was clearing out a bunch of her things and she gave me a bunch of sewing stuff. So these are different, they're all cotton. There's a DMC, there's a coat, JP Coats, this is Galaxy. So, and I don't know what this is a brand that's on Amazon, Le Mans. I don't know. It's all cotton. It's nicer than CXC, but it's not as nice as DMC. I bought some just to see for a project I knew I was going to need a lot of different greens that didn't need to be good quality, so I figured I'd try it out. It's fine for what I bought it for. It'll be fine here. It just won't be a main color. So this dark, when I'm looking, and I don't know that I'm going to do a 1-to-1 conversion. I think I'm just going to, as I come across a motif, I'll grab a color. And that's another reason I want to start in the middle. So this dark, dark purple is what color? 154. It's DMC 154. And I'm not 100% sure that that's going to be my dark, but you can see like all these lines are a dark navy in this one. And I needed to pick something that I knew the number of. So, because you're supposed to need 3 skeins of that color. So I needed to be able to repeat it. Everything else is just 1 or less than 1, so it's not a problem. But those all kind of need to be the same to give it that, like a cohesive, you know, that dark line pretty much pulls everything together and gives you the structure. Ouch, that was really sharp. That gives you the structure of the whole piece. So I'm not sure that purple is going to do it for me. I will start using it, and if it doesn't work, I will make a trip to either the local Michael's or I don't know, the reuse place. They have sort of random stitchy things, lots of quilting stuff, but random otherwise. But, you know, I've got these variegated pinks that I really like. This one's an anchor, you know. I'm not quite sure about like a couple of these colors. This yellow in particular is a little bit dirty looking, but it might be fine. It might be fine once it's laid out. And it has like a green tinge to it. I don't know. So we'll see. And I have other brights that I can go into if I get kind of like, you know, these aren't working, or I need another, I might need another green because I only have these 2. So we'll see where it ends up. And I'll let you know along the way. And especially by the end, I'll have a list of what I used. But it's not going to be 1-to-1. Okay, so I've been really excited about this piece. Turkish Delight. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Cam, the stitcher, I think, who showed hers. And I had never seen it, and I think she had just finished it, and I was blown away. It's so beautiful. So thank you, Cam. You enabled me by a long shot. I really, really love this pattern. This is the kind of pattern, like, if I couldn't like stitch it, I'd probably, you know, cut the image out and frame it and put it up. That's how much I like it. So yeah. All right. So that's Turkish Delight. I will probably start that later today, or I will start the next one that I'm going to show you. We'll just see when I'm all done how pooped I am and how challenging of a stitch I'm able to come up with. This one is more challenging because of, you know, Turkish Delight's more challenging. It's got a lot of colors. It's a center start, which I've not done before. So I kind of want to have a clear head when I do it. Okay, so that is Turkish Delight. And while I am setting up my down camera again, let me tell you about this one. All right, so this one I dyed the fabric for this as well. So it's the same base. It's the same 40 count Newcastle linen that I've been using. And this is the color. Isn't that a beautiful aqua? Yeah. And this is probably the biggest piece that I've worked on size-wise. It's big, and I only left a 2-inch border space. Again, that's why the waist fabric is done on the edges. So the reason that I didn't record, I didn't record this is I wanted to have it come out smooth, right? And I didn't know how to do that, like, because everything I've dyed has had like wrinkle marks and splotches and unevenness and all kind of on purpose. accidentally on purpose, right? But this one I wanted to be pretty smooth, but maybe like darker around the outside edge. And I don't think that it picks up on the camera. It is just a little darker around the outside. Yeah, I don't think you can see it. Yeah. All right, so let's look at the colors we've got going on here. Ooh, baby, look at all these. So this pattern up here is in French. I bought a PDF. It's French. Sampler de Olga. I'm not sure if that's a name of where it's from or a person. If somebody else has done this chart, I would love a little bit of input on the French. But it's done in 3 colors. It's charted for 3 colors, a red, a dark pink, and a lighter pink. And so I just went into my eBay stash and I pulled out some pinks and some reds. And I'm going to do like each little motif. Like there's the circle, like a wreath, there's a heart, there's like a couple band, like border bits. And so each one of those I'm going to pick a red, the 3 that are going to be in that one, but they'll all be kind of different. And I am going to try to use up some of my ends, so I'll probably start with things that I don't have very much of. Like I don't have much of this red, but I have always loved this color combination, red and pink and turquoise. So this is another one of my, both of these samplers are me like playing into like knowing my weaknesses, knowing my strengths, right? Like I know that the cold seasons are harder for me. And so I'm giving myself bright, cheerful colors, challenge without being overwhelmed, right? So I think, ouch, she's getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of you, honestly, little bitey puss. It's gonna go in this bag. I like this bag. So those are my samplers that I'm gonna be starting. I'm really excited about this one, and I think I might start this one today. Now that I see it laying out under the lights and those colors, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do today. Yeah. Okay, so what's next? So 2 samplers for Sampler September. And I guess I'm done with, no, I'm not done with plants. Just a plug, this quilt and another one of my quilts are going into a quilt show in a local community college, Tompkins Cortland Community College in Dryden, New York. And that's going to be the weekend of the 20th and the 21st of this month. And I have to drop this quilt and my other one off on the 19th. So I'm excited about that, but that won't happen. I think I'll be back and with another Flosstube before that. I do hope to be able to do a little bit of recording in the show. It depends on how many people are there and how overwhelming it is. I've entered in this show before, but I've never actually gone to the show to see my work in the show. But this year, I'm gonna do it. So that's another thing that, is a good fun distraction, right? But that's all my plans. I talked about, with my whips, where I was going to go with those. I am working on putting together I've got the fabric and I'm putting my ideas together for the gathering acorns that I'm going to be doing with Pam at Dizzy Daisy Crafts and Jason Xstitches. Those two started it, and I was like, hey, can I join? Because I just love squirrels, and I love that pattern. So I'm going to start that. I will give a hint. The fabric I chose is bright orange. Ouch. Ouch. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to come back. Okay. Sorry about that. I guess I turned bright red. I get that response, like when she's, I don't care if she chews on me, right? She's a parrot. That's how she explores her world. It's fine. But sometimes, like, she's on purpose being painful. So I don't do anything to her, but I set her away from me so that she kind of gets the point. And usually that's, there's no, like, you don't discipline a parrot, right? You just kind of change their situation, and so the behavior stops. So it is what it is. As long as she doesn't scream in my ear. Okay, so those are all of my whips, my finish, my plans. I'm really looking forward to September. This is September 1st. I'm managing on the 1st of the month. I almost put it off, but I told myself you have to do it. So I've been watching a lot of Flosstube. Just chilling out on my porch in the last warm days that I've got. And so, there's a lot going on in the community. And so I thought I would just talk a little bit about some of the things that I have seen. I think probably early on in the last 2 weeks, not sure exactly when he announced it, but I wasn't doing the stitch along or whatever it was called. The runner stitcher, Andrew. I wasn't actually participating in that, but I was following along because there's so many people doing it. And then he had the sad news that he couldn't go and do his marathon in Australia because he had to move, which my heart went out to him. That's so hard, especially, you don't want to move if you're moving and you don't want to, and then it interrupts all the good things you've been planning. I don't know. That's sad. He didn't go on about it very much, but I could tell that was a blow, right? So give him some love. He's still plugging on. I saw that he did a live stream yesterday during when the marathon was supposed to be a stitching marathon instead. So that's cool. I dipped into that for just briefly. So yeah, there's that kind of going around the community, and some things that I was looking for. I know that for Sampler September, Evertote and Roxy Floss, they had a big sampler, Jane Wood. I forget the year. Jane Wood is the name of the sampler. It's huge. It's the pink house sampler, and I originally was like, oh, I want to do that. Right. But then I decided that it was such a huge project that it would kind of take energy from all these other bright, colorful, beautiful things that I'm really into right now. And so I'm just going to enjoy watching other people stitch it. And I had kind of been waiting for somebody to come forward and say, yeah, there's going to be a stitch along for this. There's going to be, a Facebook group or whatever. I don't really do Facebook, but, and yesterday I don't know if she just posted yesterday, if I had missed it originally, but I can't remember her name. Carmen? Is her name Carmen? Carmen Pins is her Flosstube. She's great. She has a very sort of relaxed presentation, and I appreciate that because I kind of I'm a long way from formal in my presentation, but she was asked by Caroline from Evertote to host the stitch along for the Jane Wood sampler, and so that's starting today. And I will put in the show notes down below a link to that and the hashtag so that you can go join in with that if you want to. I'm going to watch it and see what everybody's doing. I might have at some point do that sampler. I really, it's such a big undertaking, and it's a big expense too. Like that's something where I would want the kit, right? Like I would want all the things. There's so many moving parts in a piece like that. I don't think I'm experienced enough to just change that and have it turn out really well. But I'm hoping somebody else is and makes some changes and so I can kind of see how a project like that can be shifted. You know, it'd be really interesting to see somebody do it in lots of like greens and browns and neutrals, like really earthy colors instead of those bright like pink and, you know, yellow. Like I haven't seen, I mean, it's a reproduction and it's so bright. I imagine that the original, I would love to see the original in person. That must have been an exciting find for somebody to come across that original sampler. Like, whoa, a pink mansion? That's great. So there's that going on for Sampler September, and that's going to probably last a year, that stitch along at least. And just yesterday, I always watch out for a Dutch stitcher, Hanneke. Her floss tubes are just lovely. She has such a great presence, and she has podcasts too where she interviews different people. And if you haven't seen those, it's really cool. Like she interviewed Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. She interviewed Modern Folk Embroidery. What's his name? Oh, I'm so terrible. I'm sorry. Jake. No. I'm not going to butcher it. But that was a really interesting interview she did, and a couple other people that I had not really seen before, and they have really interesting floss tubes. So check it out. She's doing right now. She just finished her first pattern of a reproduction that she's been working on for quite a while, and it is just beautiful. It's not a sampler, but I won't give any more details. It's fabulous, and I will definitely be buying that PDF when it becomes available. I think she said it'll be in her Etsy in early October. So I don't know if I'll be able to start it right away, but I'm going to give her some love as soon as it goes live and buy that, because I will definitely be stitching it. It's a perfect size too. It's like it looks like it would, you know, just be like a great, like for a big round pillow. Maybe that's how I pictured doing it, like a round pillow. It's beautiful. Flowers. So yeah, check Hanneke out. And she doesn't have an annoying parrot to distract you. Okay. So those are like the biggest things that have been floating around in my head. I have a really hard time keeping all that present. So just in the last week, I've been trying to like really take notes as I watch floss tubes, and I think, oh, that's something that I want to remember, or somebody that, you know, oh, I've just found this is a interesting piece that they've talked about. So hopefully I kind of want this to be a regular section in my YouTubes, because I'm not very good at just casually sprinkling my, you know, what I've watched and things in. I'm just not good at that. So if I have a community section, so you're going to be able to go through, I have chapters in my show notes that you can skip it, go to it first, you know, however that works out. So I guess that's everything that I had notes on and planned to talk about today. Yeah, so, you know, I started with a thank you, and I want to end with a thank you. Thank you if you're still here. Bless you. This has been a really scattered video, and I hope that you got something out of it. I think part of the problem is I'm so excited about what I'm working on that my brain's just not really doing the word thing very well. And I might be getting a migraine. I can see in the camera that my face is bright red, and that's a good indicator that I'm not going to have a great evening, but whatever. It'll pass. But But thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed and you've watched this far, come on. Right? I'm just kidding. Yeah, so thank you for your comments. Tell me what you think of all this stuff that I've got planned. Tell me I'm crazy for starting so many bright colored things if you want to. You're probably right. I do need to get something a little more neutral going on, because that with Strawberry Fields done, you know, that was more of a neutral colored project, more earthy. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up planning for October. I've got a lot of plans for October that I'm not talking about yet. So, all right, folks, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I will be back, and I hope you are too. Bye.